Okay, so now all that's left to do in this row is just to choose, because we're creating a preliminary spec here of whatever is the best overall to get for kind of all the specs, whatever has most of the overall use.
Right.
So at this point, I'm kind of leaning in between Nature Swiftness and Renewal because Snerion Ward, yeah, it's pretty damn good, but the other two are just so overpowered. I don't see myself ever choosing Snerion Ward over these two. Um,
Well,
yeah.
mm, mm.
If I had to make a choice, I would say. So we have the instant casts or the instant
Self-heal.
30% of your health. Overall, the most useful gonna be Nature's Swiftness because
Yeah,
it's
I agree.
applicable for everybody. And I mean, specific scenario-wise, yes, Renewal, and we'll go into that when we kind of hash out a spec for each individual specialization. But right now, overall, Nature's Swiftness gets my vote for the the greatest of the tier.
I agree. I agree. But I mean, again, all the reasons why I would choose other ones other than Nature Swiftness is like it's specific for a talent. But overall, yes, Nature Swiftness because this benefits. Like, there's no downside to this. There's absolutely. I don't see any negative way. Like, I don't see how this could be bad in any way possible. Like, if you took this and you used it correctly, you wouldn't really regret having any of the other ones. Because I mean, hey, it's good.
Yeah, there's never going to be a time when you have this talent and it's off cooldown that it'd be straight up useless.
Hmm.
Like, it's always going to have a benefit. Whereas the other two, not always. Most of the time.
Right. Well,
But,
I honestly think the Cenarian Ward is nice to have, just because it's a 30-second cooldown. But then again, like if you're a Resto Druid, that's a really big toss. Like for PvE, that's a really, really, really big toss-up between Nature Swiftness and Cenarian Ward, because Cenarian Ward is saying, I mean, taking Cenarian Ward rather than Nature Swiftness is like saying, oh, nothing bad will really happen for oh crap moments, because Nature Swiftness, that's kind of what it's there for.
yeah.
Like that's the most
Yeah,
beneficial.
like with Scenario Ward, you just put it up and hope for the best.
Right, exactly.
But
Like you
with
time
Nature
it so that
Swiftness, yeah.
right.
You know exactly what's going to happen, exactly what you're getting. Well,
Right. So that's
even more
that's
so in Renewal.
going into the ward is saying I should be fine. It'll be okay. Nature Swiftness is saying I'm not too confident about my other healers or something popping something to help me with this, or like you want to have that advantage of instant heal of some sort,
Right.
and duration and healing increase. I mean, this is really good. That's really good. The other one, it's a hot when they take damage, and the only reason why Cenarian Ward, in my opinion, stands a fighting chance against Nature Swiftness is because it's a 30-second cooldown. That's a pretty good cooldown. You're going to be using that quite a lot. Like, pretty much almost off of cooldown.
Well, but the thing about it is that it takes a huge chunk of your mana.
Well, then again, you think about it. Right now, 24% of
Yeah.
your base mana. Already, people are... I've seen people with, like, 120 plus. 120 plus K mana. And this is their normal mana. That's 24% of your base mana. Your base mana is like having a Feral Druid's mana. That's about 24, 25, around there.
Yeah.
That's how much mana you have. So like, how 24% of that.
Well, no, see, but it's percent based. So I'm just saying, if you spam it off cooldown, it's gonna take a heavy toll on your mana, no matter what.
No, because this is the base mana.
Yes.
It's not.
I know, it's the base mana, so, like, it's not 24% of your mana, but still. Your base mana makes up most of what you have. And then, if you're just spamming, if you hit that every 30 seconds, I think it's gonna be more significant than you would think. I don't know. But we're in agreement, Nature Swiftness is the best right now.
Right, currently.
So,
For just an overall. Let's move on to the next
tier.
I guess this was mine.
This one's yours, yeah.
Fury Swarm. Now, just looking at all the tier, this looks like a Boomkin one. because we've already seen Feral.
I see a typhoon.
Yeah, I see a Typhoon too. Anyways, let's work on Fury Swarm. Fury Swarm decreases the target's armor by 12% for 5 minutes, and reduces the target's movement speed by 50% for 15 seconds. While affected, the target cannot stealth or turn invisible, dealing 76 damage when cast from bear form. Usable in all shapeshift forms, but incurs a 6-second cooldown while in bear form or cat form. So if you're in, bear form, pretty much the melee.
I can kind of already start to see the reasoning behind some of the things in there. It's just like a very buffed Fairy Fire, which makes me kind of... I want to know if Fairy Fire is still a spell.
Well, it is a buff Fury Fire. It even says buff.
But,
This town.
Does Fairy Fire... Does the original version still exist? Yes, it does.
It still exists, even if you don't spec into this.
Okay. Which... Okay, decreases armor by 12% in Fairy Fire, and in this one, it's the same. This one lasts longer.
And it slows.
Yeah, but the big thing is the slow effect, which,
right.
If you're playing one of the melee specs of a Druid, that's huge.
Well, no,
it lets you get everything up on them that you need. They're not going to run away from you. And then, in the case of Feral, when you want to kite them when you have dots and everything, or if you're trying to live, it lets you get away. It lets you control the fight better, which is a lot of what Feral PvP is all about.
Control, right.
Yeah. So that's big, and then it gives the damaging in bear form. I assume that's just so that
tanking.
It's a threat.
Builder. Right? Exactly.
Yeah. So that makes it usable in PvE.
It's the exact same thing as a Fury Fire, because when you're in a bear form, it causes additional threat, and I believe it also deals damage. So, the normal Fury Fire currently. Mm-hmm. But yeah, if you're a Boomkin or a Resto, now you have slows, not just like a bark skin or roots or something like that. You now have a legitimate slow if you spec into this.
And it's a ranged slow, so
ranged slow.
You can put it on from wherever you're standing. You don't have to be in melee range. You can put that on. That's just going to be that much more free casting time you get on them when you're fighting them. And especially, I want to say that that'd be a good combination thing to do with a Typhoon. But, spoiler, I kind of see that Typhoon is already a talent over there, meaning that you can't have both of them, which just already makes me pissed off.
Well, I mean, they try and keep it balanced. Like, it's either you have this overpowered spell or this overpowered spell. Choose.
Balanced. Get it?
I got it.
It's a balanced Druid.
Okay, we all get it. Continuing.
Okay.
I mean, the slow. This is very good for balance, because balance don't quite have slows except for the Typhoon. Mm-hmm. So, or roots of some sort, So this is good. This is very good. And I just don't see how this can be a negative thing. Like, if you spec into this,
same thing for trees too, because
exactly.
It's just going to give you more time where you're not going to be taking damage. Where big disadvantage when you're a Resto PvP is that you're spending most of your time reapplying things on yourself, and you never find windows of opportunity to actually damage them. This can widen your window where you actually get to pump out damage and not just make your duel last 5 hours.
Right, to help support. Mm-hmm. If you're going on 1-on-1, this could help you. This could give you an advantage. Another thing, I know a lot of Resto Druids, very undergeared ones, they need to cast, because their hots just don't do it if they're undergeared against, a much more geared person. So, if you need to cast, this gives you the opportunity. You can run away, slow them, and get a cast off. Mm-hmm. And it has no cooldown. I'm sure there's, probably diminishing return.
Yeah. Now also there's a combination effect here that I'm already seeing patterns. If you took this, and then you go up to the first tier of talents, where you get your Tireless Pursuit, your instant cat form, and dash ability, those two seem like they would go hand in hand. You fire off a Fairy Swarm, then you use that to get the hell away. Or even your Displacer Beast.
Exactly, right. Just to slow them, to give